Hey guys, next part of the build log then. If you've been following this, you know this is going together pretty quickly. In total time that this has taken is pretty much the length of the videos to build so far. This is part 4. I haven't actually stopped building it yet since we started part 1. So we're now on stage 21, which is the tailgate. We've just chopped that off, and the side panels. So we'll get that stuck on. So it's saying upside down, and then we're going to fit this piece. That should fit onto there. Yeah, but what we'll do first then is we're going to add the tailgate. That fits on there lovely, as the rest of the fit's been really good on this so far. The reason I want this on is it might be a bit easier to get those sides on. Okay, so basically that just sits on the back. I just wish all airfix actually went together as good as what this is doing. I'm really impressed with it. Right, so the first part then on this side of the vehicle is going to be this part, which is part 20C. So that should fit onto there, which it does. Okay, so we need a little bit of glue. And we'll put that on there. So this should sit in there just nicely. Yep. Okay, so that bit fits in here. What this actually is on the real vehicle is it's just literally an empty box. It's a storage bin. So on this side we'll do exactly the same. We'll add some glue into the mix, and then we'll add that onto this side. So what we've got on this side then is we've got the fuel tank, the fuel filler, and next to it is the diesel pump, what I was telling you about. When you open that up, it's literally a little siphon pump, so you can stick that straight into your jerry cans and start filling yourself up with fuel really quickly, or you can use it to siphon off fuel from another vehicle and fill yourself up really quickly. So if for example you're out of fuel and you were parked next to one of the HETs, the tank transporters for example, with 1,000 litre fuel tanks and stuff that run them, you can just put your pump into their fuel tank and fill yourself up off it really quick. But anyway, moving on. B, we now need 24B, which is the ECM box, which is the electronic countermeasure box. So we'll just tidy that up a little bit. We'll tidy that up a little bit. Okay, it's saying that this piece goes to the interior of the vehicle, and that sits on there in that location. So something with this, I can't really talk too much about the ECM because it's classed as secret. However, what I can tell you is this box is wrong, dependent on the variant. If this was a Jackal 1, there'd be a box that sits at the back, which is the toolkit. In most cases, the box that would be here for the toolkit would sit on top. If this was Jackal 2, there'd be fans and everything on the top here for the ECM to cool the equipment down, because it is a substantial bit of kit, and it creates a lot of heat when it's running, and the fans are there so it doesn't overheat in the desert conditions. So that box is slightly iffy. We now need C, See, and we need 10. So we'll just trim 10 off. Which is this piece here. It's got some injection thingies up here that we need to get rid of. That's just pinged off pretty well. We'll just tidy up where we've just cut it off the sprue. And again, it's that soft plastic, so just be very, very careful trimming this up. Come on. There we go. So what this is saying then is these pointy bits here go to the inside of the vehicle, and that locates right at the back of this ECM box, and that sits there. It's got the 2 holes in the floor, what those 2 pins sit into, and it's got the location points coming down the sides, so you just want to be gluing all the way across the bottom of there. And what I'm on about is these points here and here. So put that in slightly forward facing, nip it back so it's straight, hold that in a little bit so the glue nips onto it, and that's the back of the jackal done. So the next part that it's calling for is the seats, which is a similar sketch as what we went through on the front seats. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of glue in front of that ECM box just to nip that in. There we go. As you can see, snug, no gaps, no fit issues, it just fits. It just fits together lovely. So while that's setting a little bit, we'll get the next pieces ready, which is sprue A, which is back here. And sprue A is number 9s, so there should be 2 of these. Yep, so we've got one there, and we've got one here. Let's just tidy that up a little bit from where we was. Make that nice and smooth. Right, there we go. So these, you've got the gap coming down here, that goes to the inside of the vehicle. The armour plate bit with the rivets on goes towards the back of the vehicle. And they sit on these first little points, the little angled steps. It sits on there facing backwards, and I'll show you that in a second. So we'll just put some glue down on the deck. And then that sits on there. Oops. Right guys, this is probably the trickiest bit I've had so far because there's not a lot of room in there. There we go. So what you're looking for is that little tiny gap at the top, and then sitting flush on these little steps at the bottom here. Let's just try and straighten them up a little bit. Like so. Okay. So that's what you're looking at. You should have a little bit of a gap between the rear wall and where the seat is. So the next part from there then is moving back to the seats. So we need parts 2B. 2B. What are we on there? That's A. That's B. So there's only 2 seats left in the kit, and this is them. So that's the seats done. Okay, so let's just trim the tops of these up. Done. And done. And these, funny enough, sit on here. So we'll just get the glue liberally on this seat face. And same on this side. So make sure that's got enough glue on it. And then we're going to be facing the seats onto there. And onto there. Right. Right, so what you're going to have is the seats that look as though they're levitating. In reality, these seats are a lot further down. But like I said, these ones swivel to 45 degrees on the real thing, on the Jackal 2s. I'd say that was a little bit too high. I can see why they've done it, but these seats need to be a little bit further down, because that does look a little bit stupid. But with the doors on, you're not going to see it. So the next part that we need then is 12C. 12C. So 12Cs are down here, and this one you need to be exceedingly cautious with because it's such a thin piece, and if you get this wrong, you're going to cut or snap the actual piece, and I don't think you'll be able to get it back together. I'm just being a little bit quiet here while I try and tidy these up, because I don't want to balls it up. Right, there we go. We've still got a little bit of jagginess on that piece there, and that's about to go. Right. So basically, you cut off the sprue at this point here, and you just need to be very, very careful because this is so thin. And again, being that thin, soft plastic, it looks as though you could balls that up quite easily. So looking at this, it fits in that hole there and there. Right, you've got a little tiny hole here, and then you've got a hole here, a hole here, and a hole here on the back of the ROPS, and that's where that sits. So I can get some glue out without enough glue that it's going to melt everything around. Basically that's what you're looking for that to sit there. And then you got exactly the same to do on the other side. So we'll get some glue on there and a little bit on there, and then we'll try again and see if we fluff this side up. Nope. So there you go, that's the rear ECM bed done. Okay, so that's how those pieces fit onto the rear load bed. So that is page 6 done. There was only 2 pieces that were required for part 26. So we're now on part 27, which is the ballistic doors. Yeah, okay. So we need 16C, 14C, and 29A. So there's C. So let's put that over there. So we needed 14C, which is a spare wheel cover, which is self-explanatory. So there's the wheel cover. We need 16, which looks as though it's that piece, and that piece. So again, we just need to trim some of this up to make it nice and smooth. We've got a little bit to trim on this side and a little bit to trim on there where it's just come off the sprue. Right, so that's the piece that you need. That's the piece that you need. Then we need 29A. A is down here. So 29A is all the way down the bottom right hand corner of the sprue. That's a substantial piece. Okay, so we'll just smooth that up. Smooth that up. Smooth the top of that door up. Right. So it's saying it goes like that. And that goes on there like that. And it appears to only fit one way. But we'll put a nice hefty double glue there. Basically what it's saying for that to fit is that on the moulding you've got a little line coming down on the canvas, and that's got to be pointing downwards on this door. And then on the other side, it appears, so that's like that, that's like that, and that's like that. Alright, so that fits on to there. What you do get is on the back of there, you've got that little lug sits in the hole, so you're not going to get that wrong much. What I would do is just put some glue on the underside of the rest of it, just to give it a little bit more nip, so you're not relying just on that little tag. Now on the real thing, because of this spare wheel, these doors weigh a ton. So that's what you're going to end up with, like that. So that's one door done. Yeah, the doors weigh an absolute ton. Even the other side, which is ammo boxes, when you've got all the ammo boxes in the doors, that's just as heavy as the one with the wheel on it. But like I said, the doors that are depicted in this model appear to have come off a Jackal 2. And the idea of the wheel being on the inside was to give that little bit of extra protection from the ballistic doors, to stop shrapnel and the like coming through the door. 8C. Okay. So that's 8C. We want 17C, which funnily enough was right next to the other piece. So same again, these are really thin small pieces. Just be cautious on your cleanup. And try not to chop your fingers off at the same time. We're just cleaning up all these pieces coming off of the sprues. Right. So it's saying that, and it's saying that goes on there. Right, okay. So we're going to glue that down. Same drills with this. Going to put some glue on the underside to give it that bit of bite. and that. And then we're going to stick that onto there. Right. I can't get this bit wrong. We'll stick plenty of glue on these sides here, and then that goes on like that. So that's the other door then. You've got the ammo boxes on one side, and then you've got the door bracket on the other side. So that's both the rear doors for the gunner's compartment complete. Now probably a good trick if with painting this is to leave those doors off. And the reason for that is if you put the doors on there now, let's use the spare wheel. If you're going to put these doors on to the actual vehicle now, you're going to have a hard time actually painting the inside of the vehicle. Okay, so I'd probably paint these doors separate and leave them off, which is what I'm going to do. Otherwise, all the detail that is actually in there at 1/48 scale, you're going to lose because you're not going to be able to paint it properly. Or you have the option of having the doors open. Right, so where are we now? So this is saying we now need 20B and 21B. Right, so what I wouldn't do then is glue the doors, because it's the next part is to put the door brackets on. So we'll do that. We'll put the door brackets on. So it's asking it to be that way. It wants 20B and 21. Right, so there's 20B. To be or not to be. Right, so there's 20, 21, and we've got trim those down. We'll get these two little bits put on, and then that'll be it for this piece, and then we'll just crack on and just keep on building. There we go. Right, so what this is saying then is these pieces go on top of here, and there's two holes just underneath that ROPS, and that sits in there, and then your door sits in that bracket. Okay, so let's get some liberal amount of glue onto there. Let's put some glue onto there. Let's get the piece in. Now it's not fitting like it did just a second ago. Why not? Hold on a minute, guys. Hold on a minute, guys. What's going on here? It's because I've got the bloody thing on the wrong one. That one goes on there. Right, I had them on the wrong way around. So that's the first schoolboy error we've had on the kit. I know it's not in camera frame, but this is pretty tricky. Right, so we've just got these two pieces put on the top here. Now obviously now that's gluing. So what we're going to have to do is hopefully get the doors on. I know I've just said about gluing the friggin' doors on. Not gluing the doors on because of the painting issue. However, if I'm correct, you should be able to have the option of having them open or closed for painting. And if you don't glue the hinge, you should be able to have the doors open or closing. Right, so that rectifies one problem. And let's try and get the same done on the other side. And as you can see, even in plastic, the bloody doors are heavy and they fall off. Right. So let's get that in. Right. So what we're going to have to do here, we're just going to have to nip these doors shut a little bit so the weight of the door isn't pulling these pieces off their location points. So like I was saying, with the doors on, as you can see, there's no room to do your interior painting, but it's lucky that the doors can actually open and close and fall off every time you try. So I'm just going to let that set for a few minutes, and hopefully the doors will stay put. So that was part 29. So part 30 is coming on to the jerry can holders. So it's asking for B's and an A. So we need an 11B. So we need an 11B. There. It's asking for a 19B. There. So that's one side. It's asking to make two of them. So there's the 11. There's the 19. And then the next one it's asking for is the A. A. So we've got the A, 5, 6, right. Right, so there's the jerry can holders. Right, we're going to leave it there for this part, and then we're going to move straight on to the next part. So we're now up to page 7, step 30. And what we're on now, about an hour and a half of building. So basically we've done 27, 28, 29 was fitting the doors and the brackets. And we're now just about to start 30, which is down there ready to go. So any questions, comments, please get in touch as per normal. And I shall speak to you again very shortly, which will be in minutes few, to continue the build and crack on with the jackal. So thanks for your time on this part, and we'll speak to you again very shortly. Bye bye for now.